I'm sorry, it's like for you to say that, Brad, or Luke, or Lucy, but
Whoa,
some of us got bills to pay and...
So hang about, stop, right? So I didn't have bills to pay. I started my business off with £25,000 in debt, no income, whinging wife. I've got no qualifications to my name, not one. Everyone laughed at me, right? Everyone laughed at me. I've been addicted to drugs twice. So it's all right for me. So it's all right for me, is it? Delivering pizzas at 31 years old, it's all right for me. So this is the thing. What, you reckon that you're like, oh, my dad was a heroin addict. So was your dad a heroin addict? Because you see, it's all right for me. I stopped giving myself excuses.
I'm Luke Giorgio and you're watching Inside Journey TV. Now a few weeks ago I got to interview Brad Burton. I found out how Brad went from £25,000 in debt to become the UK's #1 motivational speaker and best-selling business author on Amazon with 3 different books. So if you're looking for some simple ways to get from where you are to where you want to be, then you're in the right place. More good news is that the show was also co-hosted by Lucy Cole. Lucy's a personal trainer, entrepreneur and bikini athlete. So most people want to improve their health and fitness, but they're not sure how. So Lucy was really good at getting Brad to open up and talk around them sort of topics. The final piece of good news is that I've just found out I'm interviewing Simon Zucci in a couple of weeks' time. Simon is a top property investor, best-selling author on Amazon with his book Property Magic, and he's just spent the week with Richard Branson on his personal island on Necker Island. So he's going to explain and go into detail in all that, plus how you can invest in property the simple way and to get the most from your money. So if that's something you're interested in, please subscribe to our YouTube account and you'll be the first one to find out about all that. But back to today, without further ado, please welcome Brad Burton.
So our guest today is the founder of 4 Networking, the UK's largest joined-up business network.
Boom, boom.
He's author of some of the highest-rated books on Amazon.
The highest-rated book. Sorry, yeah, the highest-rated. Come on, Luke. Let's big it up. Come on.
He's the UK's #1 business and motivational speaker.
Oh, so it says on my website.
And he's also known as the Northern Tony Robbins.
That's right.
So I think that we're going to get a heck of a lot, me and Lucy. Hopefully Brad will enjoy it, and you guys are going to get a lot as well. So please welcome the one and only Brad Burton.
Yeah, big gold clap, awesome. Oh, and the coffees are coming in. Look at this, brilliant, seamless. We are at Hunters, by the way. Hunters in Cockfosters right now, by the way, boys and girls. Their little plug for Hunters at Cockfosters.
Hunters, Cockfosters.
Oh, look, thank you very much for looking after me. 2 shots, brilliant. There we go. Seamless.
Okay, so Brad, I've just introduced you, and that's a really impressive list of achievements. But obviously, you didn't always start that successful. You weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
I think that's a fair assessment, Luke. You know, I was born back in 1973. I know I look older. I'm 42 now, and I was born in Manchester, Salford. And I was brought up in the mean streets of Salford, Manchester. But I didn't realise it was the mean streets of Salford, Manchester, because when you're in it, you don't realise. A bit of a class clown at school. Come out with no qualifications. Worked in computer game shops, retail. Then I ended up working in Butlins over in Minehead. I was a chalet boy. People say, "Oh, was you a redcoat?" No, I'd like to say I wasn't. I was just a chalet boy. And then ended up writing on magazines, being a computer game journalist back in 2021. I blagged my way into a role there, and then it all went horribly wrong when I got into the rave scene, that wasn't too bad, but I ended up with 2 bullets put through my window over in Manchester. And I'm not going to go into it. You know, I wasn't involved in drugs and that sort of stuff. It wasn't my bad. I was caught in a crossfire effectively, but it was one that wasn't a nice story. It is available in my second book, that story, but. You know, it was a dark time for me. So you've gone from being this happy-go-lucky 21-year-old, like our Lucy, and to everything going horribly wrong. So everything was fun prior to that point when the bullets went through the window. And, you know, the thing is with fun and games, it's all fun and games until it stops becoming all fun and games. And you know what? As a kid brought up on hip-hop, you know, it was all about wearing your cap backwards and being gangster. I tell you, I don't know if you can swear on your show, but you might have to beat that out. But the bottom line is, it's yeah, you know, it's all fun and games, like I say, until the reality of real bullets coming through your window, and it just changed my life and my direction forever. But I wouldn't be sat here with you guys today if it wasn't for that dark days. And this is what I say to people in my motivational stuff. You know what? The darkest day of your life, I want you to think for a second about the worst day of your life, which in my case was 1993, and the best day of your life, kids, whatever, right? These bookends in your life are now steering you down a path you now walk. And every single person who's watching this right now, every decision that they've ever made has brought them to this moment where they're watching this video.
Definitely.
Nuts.
So I know Lucy's in the fitness industry, so there's often people approach her. They've got to a point where they just want to make a change.
Yeah.
So for you, it was the shootings that made you want to change the way you was.
Nah,
wasn't.
No, I've been lying to you. Yeah. What happened? He's rubbish, right? Let me tell you something. I moved away from Manchester, and I moved to Somerset. And I thought, if I'm going to be on the dole, I was on the dole at the time. If I'm going to be on the dole and unemployed, I might as well be by the sea. And I ended up living in Weston-super-Mare, and I was just bumming about effectively. That was it. But I was on the dole, and then what happened was I got bored being on the dole. I remember walking down Weston-super-Mare High Street, and I kicked a can that was on the high street. No one there to kick it back. I had no one. So I've moved from Manchester with all my friends in the support circle to I've got nothing. And Steve's with me, that memory. And what I did, I was on the dole, and I got an education, and that education was I'd go to the library every single day. I'd go to the library every single day, start reading stuff on management, start reading the Times, start reading the Independent, the Observer, the New Scientist. I had no idea what I was reading, but it was like that number 5, that robot short circuit, just reading, get myself an education. And that education, that base, because I've got no formal education, that base is what served me today, I reckon.
Yeah. So I put here one of the really interesting points that you made, not interesting, but a point that caught my eye was when you started delivering pizzas. And for me, when I was watching, I've watched previous bits of you before, and this was something that really sort of stuck in my mind, because I can imagine this happening to me.
Right.
Can you tell us about that story?
Yeah, I was delivering pizzas to keep my business afloat, my first business, which was called Full Consultancy, which is a marketing agency. I'd walked out of a job, started my own business off, and it's like all fun and games. It stops becoming all fun and games. You know, you start a business off, it's all about working out business plans and all that. Hang about, if you're not making money in a business, it's a hobby and you should be doing it at weekends. So I did this business, 3 months in, I'm sat there struggling, and I end up culminated in me delivering pizzas. All went horribly wrong one day. So Monday to Friday, I'm Brad Burton. Hi, I'm a marketing genius. I do this, and this. And then Friday, 6 p.m, ding dong, hello mate, Domino's Pizza. I was delivering pizzas, and it all went horribly wrong one day when I rang a doorbell. Door opens, one of my clients from a marketing business, and I'm there with a pizza box. It was horrible, and my blood went cold. You know, like when you made a mistake and you know you made a mistake, and your blood goes cold. Yeah, that. Right. And I just said, Brad, what are you doing here? Yeah, what it is, Steve, was undertaking a direct marketing campaign for Domino's, so I thought I'd really get a feel for the organisation by delivering pizzas at weekend. Yeah. He knew it was BS, I knew it was BS, and that was it, isn't it?
Yeah, incredible, really, because I think the best thing about it is that you did take action. You went out, you got a job. You didn't complain. You wasn't moaning.
Oh, did complain. Listen. Don't let's. I realised that I needed to. Trust me.
No.
Yeah. That's the point. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I complained. I whined. Yeah. Whined like a good one. Yeah. And this is the thing that sometimes to get to see where you want to be. Bye everyone. Take care. See you later. To get to see where you want to be, you've got to go via A and B. And A and B is delivering pizzas. A and B is doing stuff that you don't want to do. And people don't want to do that. People just see, they want to read a book and then go from being A to B to success. It doesn't work like that. I've been at this now for 11 years. 11 years of false starts, 11 years of getting it wrong, 11 years of heartache, feeling sorry for yourself, stress, 11 years to get to this point where actually I'm plausible enough to be on your great show. No, but if you go back 11 years, you wouldn't have been on the show. 10 years, you wouldn't have had me on the show.
So that's a great. I was reading about something the other day. A lot of people are A to Z people. They look at the beginning and they look at the end. They don't look at all the letters that go in the middle.
Absolutely, kiddo.
Lucy can probably expand on it. I'm sure a lot of people you deal with, they want to lose weight or they want to get fitter and they just expect it to happen.
That's right.
Absolutely, and that's the thing that I find a lot is they might have tried things before and it doesn't work. So what's your advice then? To not just with the health and fitness and losing weight, but in business, why get back up again?
So I'm 42-year-old, right? I've been going to the gym for 5 years. I'm hardly Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know why? Because the gains or the losses or whatever are not made in the gym, they're made in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
And I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that. I like donuts, right? In fact, who doesn't like donuts? But the point is that's, and I've got to make changes there. But actually somewhere along the way, I'm unwilling to make those changes. So you need to be aware, how much are you willing to pay? What price are you willing to pay for your fitness? What price are you willing to pay for business success? Now, and I don't want to get to it, but I'll talk about it now. I had a nervous breakdown 3 years ago, right? And to talk about the gym situation, if you go in there and you go and ask me to go and curl 30 kg dumbbells, I can't do that, right? So if I tried to do it, I would strain. If I kept doing it, I'd get more frustrated, I'd burn my thing out, and before you know it, you've got a tear. Boom. Same situation, your brain's a muscle. And if you put too much weight on it, or you ask it to exert too much, it breaks, it rips in the same way that any other muscle would. But somewhere along the way, nobody says, hey, what can you bench, what can you brain press? Nobody says it.
It's that struggle, I think, that a lot of people don't want to go through, whether it's fitness or whether it's business. They don't want to go through that. And I've got something that's in your book. You said being comfortable is dangerous.
Being comfortable, yeah, totally, too comfortable. So a friend of mine, he's on 180 grand basic. 180 grand basic? What? 180 grand basic, he pulled 360,000 quid last year. 360,000 quid. And you know what, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you asked him how happy he was, and he asked him to write it anonymously, he'd write a 2. Yeah. Right? This is the thing. 3 years ago, I was making a whole lot more money. A whole lot more money. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy was I? 2 or a 3? Yeah. Ask me now. I'm making, say, a third or you know, that money. I'm an 8 or a 9. Yeah. So somewhere along the way, we get it twisted about what's important. It's all about money. Success is all about business success, balance sheets, and that's what. No. Forget that. You know, success is what I've sussed out now. Success is doing what you want when you want to do it on your terms. Yeah. So you know,
someone wants to say to you, "Oh, Brad, that's all very well," because I have exactly the same conversations with people, friends, and my family. I'm sorry, it's like for you to say that, Brad, or Luke, or Lucy. But
whoa.
Bills to pay and
So I'm going to stop, right? So I didn't have bills to pay. I started my business off with £25,000 in debt, no income, whinging wife. I've got no qualifications to my name, not one. Everyone laughed at me, right? Everyone laughed at me. I've been addicted to drugs twice. So it's all right for me. So it's all right for me, is it? Delivering pizzas at 31 years old, it's all right for me. Yeah. So this is the thing. What you reckon that you're like? Oh, my dad was a heroin addict. Yeah. So was your dad a heroin addict? You see, it's all right for me. I stopped giving myself excuses. Yeah. Right? I used to look at people driving Range Rovers or whatever and go, oh, how did they afford that? It's all right for them. I'm going to sell spending. Right? So this is what I'd say to your audience. What excuse are you telling yourself? Well, the reason I can't be a success is I've got no qualifications, right? You know, well, look at me. This is a classic. I started phone networking off with £25,000 in debt.
Money in parking outside.
At least we're not filming.
That's screwed up the video. Sorry.
Well done. You know, so if you think about me, my situation, I've got I started my business off with £25,000 in debt, no income, laughing stock. People told me I would never work. Wife wanted me to go and get a proper job. Blah blah blah. The list goes on. And somewhere along the way, I bought something for 50 pence, sold it for £1, and repeated that. No investment, no bank could look at me. Blah 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 blah. Right? I wrote my books. Oh, Brad, you can't possibly call a book get off your ass. Yeah. No one's going to publish that. So you know what I did? I published it myself. Yeah. But well, you might self-publish it, Brad, but you're not going to get it in Waterstones. Let me tell you about that's in Waterstones. You know how it happened? It's by me picking up the phone to Waterstones buyer every single day for 6 weeks, and eventually he picks up the call. Hiya, Steve, how are you doing? I've been trying to get hold of you for some. Yeah, sorry, Brad, not come back to you. Steve, is it alright if I come and see him? Yeah, of course, we've got a book. Went to see him. Went there. It's like Mr. Burns. This is a chief buyer at Waterstones, like that. I walked in. So, Brad, tell me why you're here. So I've got a book called Get Off Your Arse. You're the chief buyer at Waterstones. Because I want to sell. You can beat that one out as well. But, you know, it's going to be a tough post-production job for you here, Luke. Right? But I said to him, can I be really honest with you? As in, really honest with you, as to why I'm here. He said, yeah. I said, I don't have a effing clue what I'm doing. And he burst out laughing. He said, that is the best approach I've ever had in 20 years. And he says, boom, and the bottom line was it's now stocked in 80 Waterstones.
The best thing, what I love about it, Brad, is, and you'll get to touch on this too, Lucy, it seems like you developed like that growth mindset. So rather than seeing everything as an obstacle, you started to see everything as a challenge and something to
you know what I've done? I've engaged with every fallible, every failing of mine. We talked before networking, and I mentioned that Lucy was on Take Me Out. Right? Hey, listen, don't run from it. Don't run from it. Engage that. Embrace that stuff. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's that kind of stuff that people go, I never recognise you. So what I've done is I've embraced every element of what I stand for. So just to recap as well, it's all right for you. What was all right for me? You're a professional speaker now. Yeah. Do you reckon I was born 10 years ago as a professional speaker? No. I've been doing foresights at 4 networking for 10-minute slots for the last 9 years. I've died in front of audiences, 250 people looking at me blankly, and I don't know what I'm talking, just completely sweating. So it's all right for me. And this is the thing, you know, it's all right for me. You've got to make these decisions. And stop giving yourself excuses. And this is what people do. Oh, I'm just a working class monkey, northern monkey. Right, well guess what? If you keep telling yourself that, guess what you'll be? A working class northern monkey.
Self-perpetuating and just self-filling prophecy.
And that's something that I come across all the time is excuses. And I've had some this morning at your 4 networking event, you know, I don't have the time. That was my main thing. And I think you've got to invest that time into yourself. And I see you've spoken about that before.
Well,
you know, and you let go of your excuses and you make the most of every opportunity.
You know what? If you look at some videos of me, go on Google, Brad Burton, working lunch. I'm the fattest person you've ever seen. Seriously, Luke's just going, oh, don't swear again. Right, I'm going for the hat trick, Luke. No, go on, don't say that, Luke. But the point is, you look at me, I'm terrible. I'm walking to that stage on BBC Two, it was live, and I look like a fat zombie.
Yeah.
I look like someone like The Walking Dead. You know, if there was such a thing as a fat zombie, I'd be it. You know what I mean? Honestly, it's terrible. But that was me, and somewhere along the way, I felt that was acceptable.
Yeah.
You know, and actually, if you're overweight, there's something going on that's not about you eating. You're doing emotional eating, or you're doing it because you're stressed. Hey, listen, I'm an emotional eater. No question. Oh, let me tell you something. I'm an emotional eater. The old school, Brad. Success. Let's celebrate with something to eat. Pissed off. Oh, I'm going to go and cheer myself up with something to eat.
Yeah.
You know.
And how do you feel, you know, super successful now, you're always busy, you know, I think a lot of the time we don't really worry about what we're eating, but, you know, how do you feel like that affects your business performance?
You know what, I'm, even now, see, I've got diabetes type 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it's horrible, right? Now, actually, 18 months ago, the doctor said to me, hey, Brad, you're borderline diabetic. When it happens to fat people, Brad, look in the mirror, you're right? That's the reality of it. You are that person, but somewhere along the way, I couldn't see it. It was always other people, right? So I ignored his advice to deal with my blood sugars and to stop eating crap. 6 months later, got a test. Brad, you've got diabetes type 2.
Why was that? Why did you ignore it?
Because I thought it happens to other people. It's only fat people. Right. Guess what? You're fat.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Yeah. You know, I'm on the road. Entitlement. Oh yeah, I'm busy. Energy. Red Bulls. I used to have 5 Red Bulls a day. Well, between 3 and 5 a day. Wow. Red Bulls? Are you serious?
Caffeine through the roof.
Forget the caffeine. Sugar. If you used to go and get that, was probably what? 2 cans of Red Bull.
Yeah.
I swear. Because I didn't even realise. Yeah. I didn't even realise because it just tastes so good. Ooh, gives me wings.
Yeah.
People don't realise, and that's the problem. But how has it changed now? What do you do differently?
Water, lots of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, yeah. He says I've just done a double caffeine espresso.
Just as he had a Red Bull.
Yeah, no, I've not had 1 Red Bull in 18 months, not 1.
Ah, good stuff.
So that.
Guys, can we shut the door, please?
Is that all right?
You have to leave it open for the floor.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you. Yeah, that's all right. That's fine. Yeah. So.
Just 2 minutes, guys.
Thank you.
So if you're talking
Do you want to pause it?
No, that's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, this is.
There was just a tractor went past. I think that's what threw it.
It's all part of the experience.
So if we're talking about, you know, what you're eating now and you have to cut out loads of things, what about in a corporate environment, you know, the employees need to be firing off all 4 cylinders. You know, how important is nutrition and exercise to them?
Look, you know, I used to choose the worst stuff on a menu, right? So I must be rock and roll. Hey, look at me, I'm rock and roll. I know, I'm going to have the onion rings. And, you know, just moderation. Don't get me wrong, I still love stuff like that, I do. But it was every day, and now it'll be a treat. But listen, let me explain something about the diabetes stuff. Since that phone went down with that guy, for 6 months, I ate completely clean. Right, and that first 18 days of weaning myself off coffee, horrible, dark, everything was dark, somber, dark, horrible, I was like Gollum, terrible. And then, and I did 6 months of that, and I had 3 cheat meals in that time. Okay. And listen, I've never done that in my life, you know, 3 cheat meals in a week, maybe, but in 6 months, but once you sort of get used to it, it was like, you know, oatcakes and stuff, horrible, but that is because I had no moderation before that. I've had 42 years of excess. So now I've got to that stage where actually the brakes are on. You know what, if you're listening to this right now and you're eating wrong and you know you're eating wrong, call it a day. Because what you don't want is diabetes where I've got to go with my feet checked, or I've got to go and check if I've got spots on my elbow, which just came up today. I googled spots. I've got 2 spots there. I don't get spots. I've googled spots, diabetes type 2 this morning, and it says, yeah, that's a result of that.
Right. So
you know,
taking that, Brad, and I think you can take that from, so you blindly do something for so many years without
consequence.
Yeah.
Without consequence.
Yeah. So it's either nature or nurture, and nature will eventually take over.
Totally.
So you can take that into business as well.
Totally.
And I think just something I got from your first book when you said people believe in they've got this like sort of zombie mindset where they believe in a job for life, pension, good degree.
Well, you know what? People come into jobs for me with degrees. People that spent 4, 5, 6, I don't know how long you spend as a degree. And I'm not being disrespectful for that, because would I rather have a degree than not? Yes, I would. But equally, to be doing, let's say for the sake of argument, 4 years with your further education, you know, then to come to me and like want 18 grand.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, you know, what about this for a daft idea? You don't get a further education, like I've not got a further education, and you build a business. Yeah, but it's all right for you, Brad. Once again, no qualification. Dad was heading like, list goes on.
So what advice would you give to especially the young generation?
Okay.
How would you promote entrepreneurship?
All right.
Mindset?
So, yeah, but if you get a job, at least you know where you stand. No, you don't. Tell that, was it Talk or Phones for You that went 10,000 jobs overnight? The first that they heard about it was Adam Bolton doing a news story on Sky News. Or what about the 4,500 people at Tesco's that have just got let go? At least you know where you stand. When you run your own business, you know exactly where you stand. Get used to it. But you know what? Running your own business, being employed is a bit like running your own business.
Yeah.
You've got one boss, one client, your boss, and if he decides to wake up that he no longer wants your services, you're gone. I don't care about employment law, you're gone. That's the reality of it. So you have no security. You end up spending 2, 3, 5 years building something that isn't yours, or you built nothing. All you've got is your wage. Now, when you're my friend who's earning 180 grand a year, 360,000 last year, that's okay, because you've got lots of money. Yeah. But if all you're doing is meandering and doing a £20,000 job, so when I started my thing and delivering pizzas, people laughing in my face saying, you know, why don't you go and get a proper job, you can get 25 grand there, or whatever. I didn't do that. So for the first 6 years, I'd made no money. Yeah. So I'm struggling hand to mouth. Those guys who stayed in that role, great news, Luke. We're going to done really well performance-wise. We're going to give you a 3% pay rise, which is well above inflation. Yeah. So you're going to get an extra £40 every single month now. Brilliant. Well done. All the best. You know.
So it's just how do we get? So I think so many people are stuck in that mindset. Yeah. That's what they want. That's what they're aspiring to.
Especially, well, young people. You know, you come out of uni and you are told, like I was told, to get a proper job. And you know, I don't want a proper job.
No.
But, you know,
you're unemployable, Lucy. You're unemployable. Lucy, trust me. I've seen you operate. You're unemployable. You'd last about 2 minutes at any job. So you have to make your business.
2 minutes at the last job.
Really? How long?
A month.
Boom.
I can't do it, Brad. I can't do it.
Unemployable.
But, you know, and I think pressure from our parents as well. Get a proper job. What can we say to people my age and coming out of uni?
Okay, so always ask yourself the question: what is it about a proper job that you need? You know, well, I need to earn £800 a month or £600 a month. Can live with my parents, right? So what about this for a daft idea? Rather than looking for a job, you look for a client that earns you £600 a month, or 4 clients at 150, or 10 clients. That's what you need to do. Spread bet, because once again, you're building something. I started my business off. I sound like a politician. 25 grand in debt, no qualification. Dad was heading at it. They addicted to drugs twice. Right? How have I managed to do it? I say how I've managed to do it. I've thrown this on. That muscle, I've decided to apply it. Rather than looking for a job, is to make this a success. I've used every ounce of my mental fortitude to start getting this stuff working. And if you think about it, tattoos, Mancunian, and somewhere along the way, I'm speaking at the business show, I'm the headline act. Alongside the dragon guy, Charlie Plimco Plumbers, the guy who's made.com.
So there's not
me.
There's what you're saying is there's not one way of doing it.
No.
You can be, as long as you put the work in and you apply yourself. There's not a set. You don't have to wear a suit.
So
you don't have to
no, absolutely. No. So what you need to do is you need to understand where your GPS for your life is programmed to. So think about that. So if I said to you, Lucy, where's your GPS for your life programmed to? Where's your destination for your life?
My destination for life. So I've got an end goal.
Tell me.
I want to be the UK's #1 online trainer.
What's stopping you doing that?
Well, I'm going to call myself the
absolutely,
#1 trainer.
and it works for them. So that's that. So that's for your business goal. What about your life? What do you want ultimately? Where do you want to end up? Married, kids, and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So I'm married. Sorry, but you're not my type. You've got a brain. Or a wife. Don't. You can edit that. But the point I'm making is this: when you get in your car to come here today, you had to put in your GPS where this road was based on the postcode. If you didn't do that and you just tried to hoof it, you wouldn't know, you wouldn't have any shortcuts. So you've got to program for your life, your GPS for your life and your business. They're 2 separate destinations. So this is what I've done, is that actually, even if you lose your way, you'll always end up there.
I've done a talk about the compound effect. So lots of little things that you do every single day. Eventually, doing them small things, where's that going to take you?
Absolutely.
Is that going to take you to where you want to be? Or is that going to take you to where?
The question I always ask is this: You know, is what you're doing taking you nearer or further away from your goal every single day?
Yeah.
You know, so for instance, is this, me filming with you guys, taking me nearer or further away from my goal? It's taking me nearer.
Yeah.
You know, with all the hundreds of thousands of audiences that tune in.
That's the dream.
Right.
That's the dream.
But this is the thing, and the way you're going to get that is by getting great content.
Yeah.
Is by doing what you did to me. Hey, Brad, what's that, Luke? Boom. Hello, mate, I've watched your videos. Any chance? Yes.
Yeah.
And the more people you do that, you've got more chance today than actually if you just a guy walking on and videoed an hour and a half with him.
Yeah.
So you're smart operating in that actually you've got to start somewhere, and getting speakers like me will make it easier for you to get other speakers, and that's it. But you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to do 2 years of this, making no money, 2 years of having to have environments which is thinking, 2 years of making no money, and eventually, just eventually, and all of a sudden it takes light. But people don't want to do 2 years. What they want to do, they want to do the last interview.
A to
Boom.
Z.
Right, don't work like that.
Yeah.
So, speaking of your content, I mean, this is your newest book, is that right?
Yeah, it is.
Life Business Just Got Easier. There's a few titles in there which really stuck out in my mind, and I think Lucy will be able to talk about these as well. We lose so many days worrying about tomorrow, so many todays worrying about tomorrows.
I've been guilty of that. I think we all have. You know, what we do is, you know what, my life is going to be better when I get that new car. My life's going to be good when I go on holiday. My life's going to be good when we get that new house. What about today? Because some people in this world today will not see tomorrow. Some people will not see tomorrow. So we're so focused on tomorrow, next day, or what ifs. And any time I've ever had any stuff going on in my life, often the anticipation is worse than the reality. So if I think going back to 20 years ago with the gunshots through my day, which was a dark day, no question. But do you see me waking up at night in fear anymore? Do you see me, that I'm tearful every day like I was 20 years ago? No. So it passes. It always passes.
The fault is worse than the actual.
The anticipation is worse than the reality, generally.
Yeah.
So no one's going to starve to death. You're not going to starve to death. Right, because what you'll do, you find a way. You will find a way. And this is the thing, once you get yourself over that, actually, the days of you having a Gucci belt and those Christian Louboutin shoes, right now, when you're self-employed, forget it, those are finished. But there's nothing so important. What's the point in working for 60, 80 hours or whatever it is in order to go and get a belt to then prove to people, look, I've got a Gucci belt. Forget it. Stop this. Don't get me wrong, I like nice stuff. 10 years ago, if you'd have asked me, what I was doing it for, I was doing it because I wanted a Lamborghini and stuff like that. 10 years on, I can't think of anything worse. If I won the lottery, I'd go and get a Lamborghini tomorrow. But I'm prepared to work for it. Nonsense, just nonsense.
Not priority for you.
No. I've got every PlayStation 4 game I want, right? And people laugh at that. But I remember when PlayStation Grand Theft Auto 3, so the date, don't know the date, but if you Google Grand Theft Auto 3 on the PS3, it tells you the release date, so I can see time code when I was. But that date, I was £3 short of being able to buy the game. I'd gone down the sofa, I'd gone down my footwell, I had £3 short, I didn't have £3.
Yeah.
I didn't have £3 to buy it on that day. It's, everything. So this is the thing, I understand the value of money. I understand the value of money, that actually money's important. Even your last pound, it might make no sense now, but your last pound makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I've had nothing.
Just on that, so obviously you've been through a lot of experiences to where you are, from that day where you were searching for £3 down your sofa to where you are now.
And you know what? At a Costa this morning, $3.45.
Yeah.
Well, baby.
Right, $3.45 for a Costa. I'm doing that every day.
Yeah.
Taking it for granted. And this is the thing, you've got to stop taking it for granted, and this applies to your life. Yeah. Don't take today for granted, because if you knew you had one day left on this earth, right, you wouldn't be taking today for granted. But we do. Oh, I'm a bit pissed off with this. Forget it. Enjoy today.
So when today doesn't go so well, there's a saying that you've used, which this resonated with me a lot. Experience is what you win when you lose.
I mentioned it before, that I spoke in front of a group of 250 people. It was in Cambridge. And I was due to be introduced by the managing director as the UK's number one motivational speaker. And the managing director said, and they'd been laughing, all the staff had been laughing at the jokes of the directors, not that they're funny, because they're directors. Yeah. So one of them came on, the sales director, with a pair of shorts, everyone's hilarious. Thinking, yeah, all right. So he's due to introduce me, he got an intro on his card. He goes, I can't remember what I'm supposed to say, so it's just some fat bloke from Manchester. Oh yeah. Everyone's going, who's this nutcase? So nothing I was doing was working. These 250 people were looking at me blankly, and it was horrible. And I'm just there, and I said, that's where that line come from. I went, because I'm thinking on my feet, just looking, and people, I'm trying my best jokes, nothing. Yeah. I just died, but I was set up wrong. And I said, something? I said, there's times in your life, in your business, when you're on stage in your department or your life, when you're looking for support and you've got none, and it's just you, and everyone's looking at you blankly, like now. But in situations like this, experience is what you win when you lose. You know, that experience, you learn something. And I've learned something today. And I said to the audience, would you like to know what that is? They said, yeah. I said, never job in Norwich. And I walked off. And they all started laughing, and that was it. I'd done one.
That's exactly right. So you didn't, rather than just sort of being a victim or trying to avoid
listen,
the situation,
horrible.
You've used it as a learning curve.
Right, totally. But you think about any decision that you've ever made, no one, including me, wakes up and says, I'm going to go and today.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but every decision that you've ever made in your life, you thought it was a good one at the time.
Yeah.
Me eating burgers or whatever crap that I've been eating for the last 42 years, I thought it was a good decision because it's, you know, and this is short term. That short term, if you think about, I don't know if it's life limiting. I don't even know about diabetes too much, right? But it's not a pleasant illness as it goes on. That's all the result of the stuff I've eaten. I could have avoided it. I got tipped off by the doctor to avoid it, and I ignored his advice. Someone ignored my advice today.
Yeah.
And they'll just go on bumbling on with that, you know, bad decisions because you choose not to listen to that sound advice.
You've got to want to be helped. I'm sure you've come across that as well.
Yeah, well, kind of going on from that, you know, it's similar with healthy eating to prevent illnesses. You do the same things in your same job, or you don't take those actions to get to where you want to be in the future. You're just going downhill, aren't you?
But you're not. But this is the thing. But it tastes so good. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm a foodie. I love food. It's awesome.
But you've got to have a sort of a
Moderation.
Yeah, moderation, but also a vision of how you want to feel as you get older, what you want your body to look like.
But nobody sees that. So when you're a kid and you're smoking fags,
Yeah.
you're smoking fags, smoke. Well, when I'm 60, I don't want to live anyway. They're right. Tell you that now. When you're 59, you've got grandkids, right? You know, no one has any consequences to their actions, and I've been guilty of that in my life. That I've had no consequences. And actually, if I go and get 50 pence piece, and it goes heads, brilliant, and the day it goes tails, oh, that's bad luck.
Yeah.
You know, and this is the thing, is that sometimes if you keep flipping a coin, it's going to not go your way. As I found out with diabetes, I'm gutted about that. It's probably one of my biggest, stupidest decisions. But the fact that it was happened over 42 years and I was tipped off that I could do something about it and I disregarded that advice, that's mental.
So kind of taking that, it's you know, I've always got this saying, you know, it's not what you do, it's why you do it. And now you've got that reason why, you know, to not get any worse, to keep getting better. And kind of relating that to goal setting and having that vision at the end, how kind of important is goal setting to you in what you do, and how do you approach it?
You know, my goal, my business plan, which is, people ask me my business plan is to be better in the next 2 weeks than the previous 2 weeks. That's it. Right? My goal setting is, you can pick it up, can't you?
That's fine.
My goal setting is, this whole piece where why you're doing it, you need to understand why you're doing it. And if your only motivation, let's just say for your business, is to make money, it's not enough. Because when you get a punch in the mouth, metaphorically speaking, it's not enough to get up and say, oh, let's go again, I want a Q7. So you've got to get your goals and your why. My why is that I promised my mum that I'd get a private healthcare. I pay 165 quid a month for private healthcare for my mum. And my mum says to me, oh, what are you spending that money on a private healthcare? You know, if I get cancer, just go, you know, like, mum, shush. Well, I'm a socialist, you know, Labour, they should NHS. Mum, it's like, So she was like resisting it. It's a funny story, actually. And then she was like, I'm not signing those papers, even though I'm paying. I'm not signing those papers. Right? I'll forge you something. And she said to me, no, not doing it. So anyway, I thought, right, I'm going to get this bio. I rang her up. She went, put the money in the ISA for the kids. I went, what, on top of the other ISA, right? I said, Mum, do you remember that time when you rang me up about 6 months ago and you had toothache, wisdom tooth? I do actually, yeah. You was up all night crying with the pain. And you said to me, God, Brad, this pain's terrible. I'd pay £500 for it to go away. But that's why she went, all right, point taken. So my goal is to fund my mum's private healthcare and also to take my children to Disney World, which I said I'm going to do it 7 years in the trot now. Yeah. So every time it gets tough, that keeps me going. So if you can't do it for yourself, you know, same goes for health. If I can't do it for myself, I like burgers, and I do like burgers. Five Guys, amazing, by the way. I do get there, Covent Garden. And hopefully get an endorsement deal. But you know, if you can't do it for yourself, do it for your children, do it for your family, do it for your future. And this is the thing.
One of the things that you've said, to be a successful leader, you need an idea, a
vision and belief. Absolutely.
So that's sort of what you're saying there.
Absolutely. About everything around, I never even thought about that. But yeah, idea, vision and belief, you know, that's all I ever had. If you think about me, why I'm sat here now, with my 4 networking and blah, 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 and all these books and all that, all I've had is an idea, vision and belief. Ideas that people laughed at. But you can have ideas, because I see people come with great ideas all day long. I'll give you an idea now, Luke, it's called 5 networking. You call it 5 networking and copy me.
Yeah.
Nothing stopping you, no patents on it.
Yeah.
Great idea. But yeah, that's great, but what you're going to have to do in order to make 5 networking a success is get up every day for 6 years, make no money, and be tested. So if you're prepared to do that, good luck with it. You know, in terms of the books, you know, vision, that I needed to have a book to get credibility. Now, think about what I've done. It goes back down to that GPS system. I realised that I needed to stop off at a service station on my GPS, which was, in order for me to be the UK's #1 motivational speaker, I needed to have a book. So if I didn't have a book, would I be less likely or more likely to get booked? So it had credibility.
Massive credibility,
Right, of course it does. So me being on TV, in terms of TV shows and blah, 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 would that give me more or less credibility? More. So this is all these things start forming a picture that if somebody goes on Google now and Googles my name, they will find lots of stuff about me, videos, books, and all of it is benign. There's nothing, apart from a few haters, but there's nothing out there that says, hey, this guy's an ogre or he's a scammer or any. You type in some other entry.
So you talk about your GPS, where you want to be.
Do you want to wait for that? Because that's going to kill you now. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Start again. Sorry, my bad.
You talk about your GPS, about where you want to be in the future. And you've talked about aligning yourself with a team of dreamers, thinkers, doers, believers.
That's right.
And this is going to be the same for you as well. So people that obviously want to have fitness goals,
Yep.
people want to have business goals.
Yep.
To surround yourself with them people, I'd not want to get your both your opinions, because I heard a saying the other day that show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Totally.
So
My old friends were ravers, partiers, and I was great at raving and partying.
Yeah.
Fabulous, best times ever. I wouldn't change it. Got to some lunacy, talk off camera, but you know. But that's kind of formative stuff. That's quite formative stuff, but you can't sustain that. I've still got friends who are still in that game.
Yeah.
Really? 40-year-old? Yeah. Still going out clubbing, bang at it? Come on, get out of it. So you've got to change your friends.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the way you might lose friends. And somewhere along the way you might lose people. I'm a hoarder of people. I'm a hoarder of people. I just seriously, I love collecting people in the nicest possible way, like Pokemon, but with people. Got to catch them all. But some people you've got better relationships with others, and I've had to move on and evolve.
Yeah. Lewis, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's the same with me. The past 5 years, I've moved on from various things, and I've dropped out a lot of negative people.
Right.
People probably like you, Brad, saying you can't do it or you're not going to be able to do it.
Says
so
who?
you just drop them out.
Says who? Yeah. And it's not that so some things that you can't drop out. My wife, right, right. She is. Some would call it negative, some would call it pessimistic, some would call it realistic. I think she's a pessimist. Default position is pessimism. Right? But that's okay, because you've got a nutcase like me who's going, oh, look, a squirrel, right? And she's going, actually, the bills need paying, Brad, we're going to have the house repairs there. Yeah, but look, the squirrel's amazing. Oh, fireworks. So somewhere along the way, but it's interesting, my wife sort of didn't believe in this. And she's been bold enough. It was great, because she actually said to me once, I think we might have been drunk, but she did say to me, you know what? You've done it, or words to that effect, paraphrasing, and I didn't think you could. Yeah. And that was tough, that, to have my wife every step of the way sort of becking me head.
Say that,
yeah. But equally, as a team, you need, so you can't always have cheerleaders who just go behind you with pom-poms. Oh, look, Brad, you're amazing.
It takes people like you, like both of you, to almost, so people believe they can do it themselves once they've seen other people do it. I had a friend say to me once, I remember when I first wanted to get a job as a professional football coach in a Premier League club, when are you going to get a proper job? And that was the best motivation for me, I think, I've ever had. Because that just, the way my brain's wired.
Yeah, you've got the second best job in the world, haven't you?
Yeah.
You definitely need, some negativity, because it just, especially for me, it
drives you. Absolutely.
Absolutely turn it into something positive.
Absolutely, which is what I've done. All these people that said it'd never work. I was on a stage at Bentley a week or so ago, and I was told by professional speakers, Brad, your diction's wrong, and you need to slow down your pace. And when you speak, you talk about the future, you move to your right, and then you look to your left. Nonsense. I've had no training, none. What I've done it for the last 9 years, getting up speaking for 10 minutes, and eventually you know what you're talking about and how to say it and stuff. But I remember I was on Bentley stage and I went, those people that give me the advice that I'd never do it and that to wear a three-piece suit, I don't see them on the stage with me. do it your way, and I've proven beyond the shadow of a doubt. And what I'm trying to do right now is create a movement and give people belief, people that don't have qualifications, people that are from the working class streets of Manchester, people that have actually had adversity, people that have been involved in drugs, people that have come from broken homes, people that blah 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 blah, that actually you can do it.
That brings me perfectly on to
What a link.
like a bonus round of a few questions. So what is your destiny? What is Brad Burton going to be in 10, 20, 30 years? What do you want to see in the world?
Probably 2 legs chopped off with diabetes type 2. I'm glad you're laughing. Right? Blood sugars and dabbing myself everything. You know what? I don't know. Listen, if I drop dead today, I've actually achieved more than anyone ever. You know, on my CV, I should have been a bank robber. And people laugh about that, but I should have been a bank robber. You know, and I don't know. You know, this is amazing to be speaking to people and people realising that, you know, I'm not a wealthy guy, not a wealthy. I've got more money than I've ever had in my life, but I'm not wealthy, right? I don't want to be anymore. I'm not bothered. Yeah. My motivation isn't
about... You're riding this wave and you're enjoying it.
Listen, I got a mate of mine who's got, I went to his house, very wealthy guy, and I said, I don't think much of those taps. He went, whoa, they're £2.5 grand, them gold taps. I went, nah, you can get platinum ones for £7.5 grand. And he laughed.
Yeah.
I went, do you not see how ridiculous it is?
Yeah.
And you go and get £7.5 grand ones, and then all of a sudden you go and get like ones with diamantes on it or diamonds. Never ends, and you've got to stop chasing for what purpose?
Exactly.
You know, I got people that got a guy that I know put money into a pension. Right, this is hilarious. Right, he put money into a pension, was due to retire, and 3 days before he was due to retire, he died. Right. Just think about that. Spent 64 and a half, 11 months putting money into a pension so he could retire and enjoy his pension. Tell you what about this for a daft idea? Rather than you put that money in a pension, you start enjoying your life today.
Exactly.
Right? And go on cruises now. Go and take your wife there. Go and take your kids to Disney World. And actually, if you reach 65 and you've got no money, you know what? You ain't going to starve.
So you've already mentioned that you want to get, obviously, private healthcare for your mum.
I've got it.
You've got that in place.
Yeah.
So you want to take your children to Disneyland.
Well, yeah, Disney World, yeah.
What does success mean to you then? What does that
Private healthcare for my mum.
Yeah.
Disney World for my kids.
That's
next.
as simple as that.
Listen, you know what? And the fact that I could buy the PlayStation 4 game that I want. You know,
GCA.
Yeah, you a PS4?
I've got a PS3.
Ah, come on,
all
old
my
school.
friends have got PS4.
I do. I want a PS4. So you get on it.
Tournaments and...
Mr. 4 networking, by the way. Do find me on PSN network and play games all the time. But you do say in your comments that actually you've seen me with the video. Right. So no, success is that whole ability to do what you want when you want in the nicest possible way. So if I can't be bothered working at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll go and play computer games. If I want to work at 11 o'clock at night, I'll go and do that. Okay. You know what? Like I said, I've achieved more than anyone ever set out, and actually, I'm a role model for every single kid who's come from nothing.
Okay, so we've got 2 or 3 more questions, and then
yeah, good.
So I spoke to Lucy yesterday, and we were trying to sort out some questions.
How did that work out for you? Mad Lucy.
Well, I'm here today. So
yeah, that's a good start.
We both want to know, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received? If there was one thing that you'd want to say to 2 young entrepreneurs starting up, what would you say?
Wear a condom. I'm serious. You know, forget. Listen, wear a condom. And I'm talking about from a bloke's and a woman's perspective. So, you know, this. We all make decisions in our life, right? We all make decisions. It's a bit like eating a burger. Oh, but it tastes so good. Yeah, we know what we're talking about. Right, seriously. Practice safe sex. And I mean it in the nicest possible way, because this stuff changes your life forever. You end up with children that you don't necessarily want. And it sounds potty, but then that dreams and aspirations that you've got of your business goes out the window, because now you're a dad and you've got to go and work on the tools in order so wear a condom. And I know it sounds a bit potty and it's probably a bit left field, but that's my view. Actually, my boys, if there's one bit of advice that I'd give them, is wear a condom until such a time when you say, you know what, you're having sex, well that's great, but actually what you want is children, right? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
From condoms, if you were to recommend one book, favourite book?
There's a book that changed my world, changed my life when all that shit was going on in Manchester. No, it wasn't. Forget my books. It was a book called 23 Steps to Achievement, 23 Steps to a Success. It's called both those, the titles. You can find it on Amazon. Okay. And it's by a guy called Robert J. Lumsden. And it's like 1976 was the first print. It's all dated. It's all dated now. You look at it like your wife should prepare your lunch for when you get there now. It's all that, right?
What was it about it that really...
Oh, just when I had nothing. I had nothing. As in, I was alone, I was fearful, I was scared, I had no money, I was everything that... So my life, which was living in Salford, Manchester, which was my world, suddenly having a fish in a fish tank that's taken out and thrown into a completely different sea. You know, we don't know what he's doing. So that's what happened to me with all this stuff. And that was that book that kept me going in positivity. And I reckon I've taken so many cues from formative stuff. And actually, I tried getting hold of the guy. I got a private investigator to try find him. He's gone now. He's dead.
Really?
To say thank you. You know. So do check it out. It's like $2.99 on Amazon. But that book, you know, like I say, it's dated 1976 thinking. But there's stuff in there that kept me going when I had nothing.
Okay.
And that's what I've tried to do with that one. Life Business Just Got Easier. It's when people have run out of ideas, have run out of options, you know. And the first test that I say to people is read that book when you'll run out of options, because it'll give you the answers that you need.
Okay. So I think we're coming to an end, and I think it's certainly got a lot from it myself, and I'm sure Lucy as well. Where can we find out more about you? What's your website?
I have got the thing that I'm really working on at the moment is this Brad Camp, right? Which is me working with people in business. 10 people I work with. That's it. 10. Right, I charge £300 a day, no upsell, none of this. Hey, you know what you can get in my mastermind group, and it's £2,000. Not interested. Come to the front now. Not interested. You can see the kind of guy. I'm a straight talker, straight batter. I don't flannel. I'm a really honest guy. And what I want to do, I want to make a difference. And the first test that people have got to do at Brad Camp is get there. Right, that's your first test. If you can't get to Brad Camp, right, you know, then don't stop whinging about your problems. So I've got Brad Camp, which I'm going to be rolling up around the UK. Brad Camps. That's my next big vision thing that I want to do. Brad Camps, and then before you know it, have a big Brad Camp. Because what I do with Brad Camp is every single person that comes on the camp, they then get to a private Facebook group. So I'm building up a load of Bradvocates, or if you're into Star Wars, Bradawans. But I've got Brad Camp, and you can check me out at bradburton.biz. Google me, and also do check out my Amazon books. I'm the highest rated business author on Amazon.
Check that out, 100%.
And Twitter, you're a big Twitter fan.
I love Twitter. You know
Twitter,
what?
Brad?
At Brad Burton, and in fact, I'm a Periscope, I'm a Instagram. I love Twitter. People say, no one's interested that you just had a cheese sandwich. 114,000 people are.
Yeah, that's incredible. What some people tweet, I looked the other day, and some of the people on Facebook just walked up the stairs, now I'm doing the ironing. That's
right. But you know what? That's the thing. That's social media. I love sharing, because it keeps me sane when I'm on the road. 174 tweets a day I do on average. Living the dream.
I need to up my game.
I'm telling you.
Brad, it's been fantastic.
Thank you, Luke. Cheers. Thank you, kid. I appreciate it. Cheers.